Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching and listening to another edition of Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. All of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in the early evening of Southern California. That gentleman out there is
I'm Dave Dinius, and I'm in Reno, Nevada.
mysterious Reno, Nevada. You know, where if you're not looking at Area 51, there are some UFOs out there.
No, 51's down. Whoops,
I know
wrong.
it's closer to Vegas, but hey, come
Yeah,
on.
down there. I'm over here.
Reno is actually the last time I was in Reno, which was years ago. It's called the littlest, was it the littlest biggest town in the world, something like that?
Uh, the biggest little city in the world.
That's it. That's the slogan for whereas in Vegas it's like whatever happens in Vegas stays in
What
Vegas.
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
So, but you know what?
Anyway, let's get on with it.
We're sharing this tequila with the world. We are Humano. Humano. Oh, look at how it looks in my camera. It looks like midnight blue or something.
Yeah, yours is blue. Mine's kind of a bluish black.
Yeah, yours is a little bit darker. It's the same bottle, folks. Don't worry. It's just my lighting. I've got a ring light up in my face, and but this is Humano Tequila, and we
Doing the Añejo.
this is the Añejo version. I love the packaging. I love the bottle. And what did you tell me off camera about the packaging?
Elegant.
Yeah.
Elegant. Not much there, but says a lot still.
Yeah,
So,
there you go. See? And even on the bottom, they got the logo on the bottom of the
yeah,
bottle.
that's so cool.
Everything they did, everything the owners of the brand did had a purpose. They did it deliberately, even selecting the distillery that they selected.
Except
And
for the cellophane that wrapped the neck.
yeah, that was also deliberate. That was deliberate because it's got to be taped up to here because if you don't, this thing is going to
Yep.
slide out because it showed up in one piece.
And
But
it
be
was thick
prepared.
stuff, too.
Yeah, there's no there. Did you notice that they didn't? It wasn't creased. It wasn't um, perforated.
Didn't have the perforated. No, there was a
No, they didn't
little
perforate it
real
on
fine.
purpose. You had to actually take a see. Look, I took see. I scratch it. I did that with my box cutter.
I hope I didn't do that with mine.
I scratched it with my box cutter. That's how strong this cellophane had to be.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. And you couldn't pull it either. Some cellophane comes right off if you
Yeah.
turn it and pull it. This one wouldn't do that. It
Speaking
would.
of pulling it, ooh, that's sealed. Get
Yeah. Yeah.
it moist.
So we're gonna pour this in our I'm gonna use a Glencairn for this one. Oh. And
Yeah, that's what I got. I got a Glencairn. So,
yes, we're gonna use the Glencairns for this one. And ooh, nice bubbles.
yep.
Oh, pretty color.
Yep. Very pretty color.
Now the Repo, if you watch the Reposado review, was way lighter than I had expected. And it's a double barrel Reposado, which is weird.
But that's not that dark either.
No, but it's darker than the Repo.
It's darker than the Repo, yes. But
That Repo is like a pale straw color. It doesn't even look like they just kissed it, in wood. This one's got beautiful legs and tears going. Look at that string of pearls. It's just taking its own sweet time.
yeah, I was going to say, where are they? And it's like, oh, it's still coated.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I'm so impressed by this tequila. I'm telling you. And like I've been mentioning the backstory here on every review, so I'll probably mention it a little bit later. But
Okay.
as usual, we want to taste the juice first, then we'll give you all the ins and outs. And if you're just an oak head, and you only watch like one expression of every brand, cool. That's cool. But you should actually watch the whole line, the whole core line.
So far, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, very impressive. Um, Again, just beautiful legs and tears. And I love this color. I like the color. It's more what I'm used to.
Not a lot of nose.
Not yet. I hasn't opened up, and I know Dave just popped the seal on his.
Yeah, I did.
Mine's been open for a while, but I haven't been into it. I haven't visited in weeks. So been sitting on my living room floor, and it's been pretty cold in Southern California up until today. Today is the first day of spring too, by the way. Happy spring, Dave. Happy
It's
spring.
a very light nose, really light nose.
Well, you know the Blanco as well. The Blanco did not have the perfumey, flowery notes. It leaned more toward the citrus and the pepper
The citrus and pepper on the
and some
Blanco.
brininess. You picked out some
Definitely.
brininess on it,
Yep.
which could have been from the well water that they're using. And then the Repo had some underlying, some light toasted almond notes and some sweetness to it, but you really had to dig for it because it wasn't like it was very prominent, didn't come up to the
Right.
top.
Nothing was really prominent except for the agave in that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This, I'm having to work. I'm having to
Well,
work
you know,
hard.
that's what they pay you for, Dave. That's what they pay us the big bucks for, to work. That's why we have our pallets. We didn't get any POS, but we have a website to get some information from it. I know one of the stakeholders, so that meant a lot to me because I knew who was involved. Otherwise, it's just another brand for us. But it did, now I'm getting a bit more of the orange, like orange blossom. It's more leaning toward some of that orange citrus, or you could even go like a riper grapefruit, because the Blanco had more of a grapefruit thing,
Yeah, the
the lemon and
grapefruit.
lime.
That's it right
That's
there.
it right there. It's like a riper, like a ruby red grapefruit. It's got
Yeah.
some of that going on. For those of you who are still living in Texas, I miss ruby reds though, I will tell you. And ruby red juice with a tequila, that's your jam right there. That's summertime right there. Yeah, I'm getting the sweeter notes now from the barrel. And we have to check the website and see how long it's been aged, but I want to nose it first. I want to just before I know you're sneaking a look already.
I see it. I see it right over there.
Uh, I love it. Now it's opening up and I'm getting more of
It
that
is
orange
opening,
blossom.
and I'm getting a little of the peppery that the Blanco and the Repo had. I'm
Yeah,
starting to get a little more of that now that it's opening.
yeah, this was not shy at all. The Repo was interesting because it was double barreled and only spent like it was only 4 months total. So it's like, why? And I wasn't getting the notes that I'm getting from here. And I was just in my backyard today, first day of spring. The orange blossoms are blooming, the bees are happy, the lemon blossoms are blooming, the bees are happy. It's like everything is just it's just everything's fresh right now.
Not quite here yet.
Yeah, well, it's Reno. It's northern Nevada. What was it? Northwestern Nevada, right? Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's northwest.
right there.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
It's right there at the point. Well, I want to dive in.
Yes,
You're right. There's a little bit of that green pepper turned into like a little bit more like a chili pepper now.
just a little.
Just a hint.
Yeah,
A hint.
it's not overpowering. It's finally showing up after breathing a little.
Yeah.
At first, not much.
No. No. In fact, even when you pop the cork, I don't think you got a whiff of anything really.
No,
Yeah. All right, let's dive in. Let's go.
just
Let's go
dive.
for it.
Mm.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Still get that peppery,
Mm-hmm.
the agave pepper. Gotta like that.
It's a lot sweeter on the mouthfeel.
Yeah, a lot. I was just gonna say it's a bit sweeter.
Yeah, and that's the way it was with the Repo too, because that sweetness wasn't you couldn't detect it on the nose, but it was all on the palate.
I'm not quite getting the wood that I thought I would.
No, it's more on the sweet side, huh?
Yeah, a little bit more.
The more you let it linger on your palate, it's a little bit more on the sweet side. That's what I said on the Reposado. The more you let it play on the palate, all that sweetness on the sides of the tongue, you would get that. The lip and gum numbness is still there, but it's not, it's still not a hot cinnamon. You know what I
No,
mean? It's not a hot cinnamon. It's almost
no,
like it's
it's
still
not.
like a black pepper now instead of a white pepper or a green pepper.
or yeah.
Oh, and I get now it's opening up. I'm getting more notes of like I got some tobacco,
Yeah,
leather.
they got some on the palate and
Yeah.
some you can get it in the nose.
That's um some deep barrel notes, but it's more on the char side of it.
This one's also double barrel.
Okay,
So
explain to me
American
what's
oak
going
and
on with this
bourbon
one.
barrels, 12 months,
12 months.
bare minimums.
Yeah, yeah. 12 months in what kind of barrels again?
A blend of new American oak and bourbon barrels.
So there must be the sweetness of that new American oak, I think is what's coming through, and the bourbon's giving it that finish, that dryness.
You
You know,
think it's that way or is the other way around?
I don't know, man.
I
Could be.
don't know.
Barrel management is not my strong point. I can kind of pick them out. Like I know when it's bourbon versus Tennessee whiskey.
Mhm.
Because whiskey tends to be a lot sweeter. But the notes on the nose are still subtle. The baking spice notes, all that still subtle.
But like I said, once I get some on the palate, I
Yeah.
get a little more in the nose. I can pick out more of the yeah,
The char, there's a bit of a, for lack of a better word, a bit of a smokiness, but it's more like a darker char. And that I think like when I tasted it, it reminiscent of tobacco, maybe some bitter chocolate notes. Although it's not as sweet as chocolate would be, this is like a bitter chocolate, like
bitter
bitter.
cacao.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh,
pretty
that's
easy to
nice.
drink.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice noser. Like right here, I'm getting it all. I'm getting it like a little bit of
Yep.
leather, some tanned leather, some no coffee notes, none of that. But it's more like toward uh, uh, a char, or a smoke. Um, I
Some of the barrel
like it,
spice,
man.
definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing too is that mineral that the mineraliness that you picked out the it's still there from the
Yes.
Blanco to the Repo to this one. It's notable.
And so is that agave pepper. So
Yeah, but it didn't turn into that cinnamon spice like a hot cinnamon or a red hot. Didn't do any of that.
no,
It
it
but
just
it's
has a
it's
nice
warm.
warmth. Exactly. The nice warmth. I would say along with the bottle being elegant, it's an elegant añejo.
Mm, mm-hmm. Mm, mm. The longer it stays on your palate, the sweeter it gets. It's like it opens up on your palate, kind of like the Reposado did that for me.
And not the bad kind of sweetness.
No, 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 no. It's just baking spice, sweetness, maybe probably some of the agave too, because we know that they use
Hmm. That
baked,
agave.
oven baked, and autoclave. So that is some really that is. I don't want to use the word smooth, but if I had to, that would be that's what you said. You said it was easy, an easy sipper. That's what it is. It's very
It
approachable.
it's elegant. It really is. It's an
Yeah.
elegant. It's not
Uh,
trying to be overpowering in any way. It's just very nice. It's like the bottle.
yeah, and you got to linger with it. You really have to let it stay on your palate if you folks can do that.
And definitely let it open up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And use the right glassware too, because if you're gonna use a shooter or even a rocks glass might be a little too much. I probably should have had that Reposado in another either a Riedel or another Stotzel.
Right.
But I had it in the wider mouth for Reposados, and I normally get more notes out of that. But this one was really subtle. The Repo the longer it stayed on your palate, the more it opened up in on your palate.
Hmm.
And on retronasal also, I think I mentioned that. This one, this one is yeah. How's your sinuses now? You feel better?
A little better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey man, you know what? That's
Do
solid.
it.
Yeah, Brand of Promise nominee.
Banana promise.
That's a solid Añejo. That's and it's so different. It really is. It's not, every tequila that comes out of that region, whether it's Arandas or
Hmm.
a Totonilco, it just there's just it's never you can't really pinpoint it. You can't pigeonhole it because something's going to happen, whether it's the water or like G4 is a perfect example. The water and the terroir where he grows it. But all the little distilleries in that area, I think there's like three or four little cities. We call it a golden triangle, but it's more like a square. Uh, like this
The
distillery is
square.
in uh, what's um the city that is surrounded by that. Um, it's one that I need to visit because some of these little towns, man.
Well,
Uh,
this one's in
Tototlan.
yeah,
Yeah, Tototlan,
Tototlan.
Jalisco. It's kind of like,
Not too far from El Alto.
yeah, not too far from a Totonilco, but further down the line before you get to that town. And it really makes a difference because it's not, tequilas from Totonilco are notorious for being fruitier and more, more flowery and a bit lighter. This one sneaks up on you, man, and it's got enough character and boldness to hang. I think you could really uh, put this one to it with a cigar. Um, Again, Dave, this one probably you could mix in a cocktail. I think. I wouldn't,
No,
but you could like an old fashioned. That would work.
probably.
But I think that's it's delicious. The person involved, the principal that I know, her name is Anaí Rivera. For years was with 1921 Tequila. In fact, if anybody in Texas or anyone in the Western U.S. has had it, chances are it's because of her. And I've known her for a long time. And when she reached out and said, "I am now a brand owner. I own the brand myself and some other partners," and she loves where they're headed. They have, like Dave pointed out, they do great social media. Go follow them on Instagram. They constantly update their Instagram. I'm impressed as hell. And especially Dave and I, we've done several Cristalinos together, but we've never, together on camera, we've never done a Joven.
A Hoven. Nope.
And when Anaí told me on our phone, on our phone call, I said, so what, you going to do a Cristalina? She goes, oh no, we're doing a Joven. I go, oh, I really, that was the game, the clincher for me. I said, okay, I gotta have because
Yeah.
for years I've said it with other TJs, I've said it with Rick, I've said it with Alex. I think I've said it with just about all you guys. Jim, what's the point of aging something and then stripping out the color? Uh, because it's so labor intensive. I mean, look at the labor that they did with this one, double barreled, reposado,
Uh-huh.
double barreled.
Yep.
You're also blending agave that's oven baked with autoclave. You're getting them from the same area, but you're not using them highlands and lowlands like some of the other distilleries, like the
Right.
maquiladoras that are out there. So everything about this tequila is labor intensive. Why would you strip the color from something that takes so much to make?
And I know they say it doesn't, but it takes out some of the flavor too.
Well, it has to. There's no other choice.
Yeah.
Carbon filtered, charcoal filtered. It's going to take out some of that. The
Yes.
key is
But
how you
why?
do it. Yeah, the key is how you do it. Well, why? Because it's big in Mexico City. Everybody in Mexico City, it's a trend. It's trendy. It's not an um, officially designated expression. The Cristalino isn't, but the Joven is, and it's highly overlooked.
Yes, it is.
So I'm really anxious to taste that one. It is a um, it was a triple blend of all three, which Hovens can be, and then that's what they're coming up with. There's no filtering or anything like that. This is it for them. So anyway, that's our take on the Humano, and that's how I'm pronouncing it, Humano, which
Umano. 75 bucks a bottle at least.
you know what? That's a great price. Their pricing on every one of these has been really, it's not reflective of the higher agave prices out.
Another place regularly 80. Now they got it for 62. So you can find some
Wow.
bargains on it.
And they got a wide distribution.
Old Town 65 bucks.
See, back up the truck, ladies and gentlemen, the quality that's coming out of this little distillery and the people behind it, this is a smart move. And now that agave prices have dropped, of course, depending on whether depending on what the tariff situation is, you could see this price go up. So you know what? In this case, you have a quality tequila with a reasonable price tag all the way across so far from Blanco, Repo, and Añejo. I say you back up the truck, hoard some of this stuff, because once those tariffs come through, if they do,
If they do.
even if they don't, there are brands who are paying storage fees. Who's going to pay for those? Well, guess what? You know. So anyway, that's our take. I love this brand. I'm so happy for Ana Rivera and her partners. They've done a stellar job so far. But
So far, great lineup.
so far, great lineup. And then I'm anxious to hear what Dave has to say about a Hoven, because
Kind of Hoven.
this is again this is a his maiden flight for me and Dave to do a Hoven review. So that's our take. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is.
Dave Dinius in Reno, Nevada.
You folks have been watching and listening to another edition of Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. We've been processing ourselves with Humano or Humano
Umano.
Añejo. Brandon Promise nominee for us in the Añejo category. Go get yours. Tell us what you're doing with it. Leave us a comment. Leave us a drink emoji. I dare you to leave us a drink emoji on the comment. Hey, subscribe too while you're at it. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. I still call it Twitter because X I can't get behind.
X.
X, yeah, whatever. And whatever you do, folks, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.